In this video, a long-term Tesla bull makes some rather silly comments about Tesla's humanoid robot that will not age well. New data shows Tesla is still so far ahead of second place that second place needs a telescope to see them, and the tide continues to turn on Tesla with a new article in the mainstream finance media praising Tesla's category-killing Model Y. Let's get down to business. And before we get into it, if you want to instantly unlock over 100 exclusive videos, plus my 10-year Tesla stock price targets and loads of other perks, including optional access to my Tesla valuation model, join our growing community of thousands of supporters on Patreon with the link in the pinned comment. You can also pick up some Tesla, Elon, and investment-themed merch in the merch store. First, a quick article on the Reuters website. Quote, Elon Musk faces skeptics as Tesla gets ready to unveil Optimus robot. The techno king of Tesla, once again erroneously referred to in the mainstream media as the chief executive, Elon Musk, blamed over-reliance on factory robots for sending the electric car maker to production hell 4 years ago, saying humans were better at certain jobs. My, how times have changed. Musk's Texas company is now floating ambitious plans to deploy thousands of humanoid robots known as TeslaBot or Optimus within its factories, expanding eventually to millions around the world, according to job postings. Buzz is building within the company as Tesla is having more internal meetings on robots, a person familiar with the matter said. Now, for those who don't know, there is actually a cohort of virgins in their mum's basement at this point in time who believe the Tesla Optimus robot is a joke. It's a fraud, it's a scam, it's a stock pump, that Tesla literally doesn't actually intend on ever doing these things. There's also another group of people that think it will never work. What they lack in imagination, they also lack in intellect. Wait, did I say that out loud? Longer term, Musk said at a TED Talk, robots could be used in homes, making dinner, mowing the lawn, and caring for elderly people, and even becoming a buddy or a catgirl's sex partner. The irony is that in the future, I think many Tesla short sellers who've lost their entire life savings, have no friends and family, have been ostracized from society, will probably own numerous sex robots. The robot business eventually may be worth more than Tesla's car revenue, according to Musk, who is now touting a vision for the company that goes well beyond making self-driving electric vehicles. At its AI Day 2 on September 30th, days away, and of course I'll be covering the whole event, Tesla will unveil a prototype from its Project Optimus, an allusion to the powerful and benevolent leader of the Autobots in the Transformers series. By the way, just for the record, the whole Optimus bot was meant to be a secret code name, kind of got leaked accidentally during the first AI Day. It's like, oops, well, I guess we might be rolling with that. I don't think this will be the final name of the product. It's not official. Just wanted to put that out there. Production could start next year, Musk said. Tesla faces skepticism. Imagine that. Tesla facing skepticism about future plans. Oh, geez, this is definitely a first in the history of the company. And I would like to ask the question, thus far, how has skepticism toward Tesla future goals actually played out? Now, please don't be a Poindexter talking about goals that they haven't yet completed, because here's the deal. Things can play out one of three ways. Tesla says we intend on doing this. They either do it, they're still in the process of doing it, or they abandon plans. That's important. Please let me know in the comments below the number of things Tesla has abandoned plans for. I can think of about 2 or 3 off the top of my head. One being battery swap technology. It's important to understand, Tesla does what they say they're going to do. Predicting timelines on things that have literally never been done before, a little bit difficult. So they're not always right on the timing, but it is exceptionally rare in Tesla's history as a company, almost 2 decades, in which they say, we're going to do this. And then later go, you know what, that was a bad idea. We're no longer going to do this. More often than not, it's like, well, we thought we'd do this by now, but it's a little bit delayed, whatever. More often than not, it's actually a case of Tesla having ambitious plans and missing the timelines, their internal and aggressive timelines. That's very different from completely reversing course, doing a backflip, abandoning a project or an idea. Back to the article. Tesla faces skepticism that it can show technological advances that would justify the expense of general-purpose robots in its factories, homes, and elsewhere, according to robotics experts, investors, and analysts interviewed by Reuters. That's right, the experts all doubting Tesla. Fancy fucking that. It's never happened before, it'll never happen again, and the experts are always right, because they're experts. By the way, I just do want to jump in here. To be clear, it's going to be a while, I personally believe, before Tesla's humanoid robot is useful, but if you're not super smart and or you just don't like to use your brain, usually those things are correlated, but not always. We have to think about this for a while. How do we get to a point in the future where we have extremely useful, super intelligent humanoid robots? Do we just instantly press a button and bang, start making those? Or is it a journey? Starting with completely fucking useless humanoid robots that literally can't do shit, are a waste of time, energy, resources, and space. They actually are unproductive. They slow things down. That's a necessary first step. People don't seem to appreciate this. Most people get stuck. Well, the first version is going to suck shit, therefore it's never going to happen. It's important to understand this. I personally believe the very first version of Tesla's robot is going to be embarrassing. But if you have a basic understanding of robotics, and more importantly AI, I think it will be mind-blowing. But this is a distinction I've raised in previous videos. The experts I personally believe will be massively disappointed by what they see at Tesla's AI Day 2. Not because it's disappointing, but because they don't understand that you need a first step to get to the second step and the third step. I know it's crazy. Thinking hurts. Let's not even bother. Tesla already employs hundreds of robots designed for specific jobs for production of its cars. Humanoid robots have been in development for decades by Honda and Hyundai's Boston Dynamics unit. For those that don't know, Hyundai acquired Boston Dynamics. Like self-driving cars, the robots have trouble with unpredictable situations. Now, a few more comments here. I don't want to downplay what Boston Dynamics have done. It's incredible, amazing work, but most of what we see from a Boston Dynamics robot is pre-programmed choreography. When you see videos of a Boston Dynamics robot twerking to music, it might look impressive. Wow, they've really got motion down, Pat. Look at that, it's amazing. But you don't understand, this is pre-programmed. It's a party trick. Many people will be foolishly expecting Tesla's humanoid robot to display the same capability, mobility, agility, dexterity. This is not going to happen in the early versions, but it's important to understand, much like the companies supposedly ahead of Tesla in autonomy, who are reliant upon pre-mapping in HD, geofencing, and LiDAR, from the outside it might look like they're making more progress, but when you understand the technology underneath and the actual strategy, chalk and cheese. So, in my opinion, Tesla's humanoid robot is going to be clumsy as fuck initially, and everyone's going, oh, we're going to look at Boston Dynamics about it. What, Tesla, you suck, bro. Not understanding Tesla's approach is entirely different. And again, I don't want to downplay what Boston Dynamics have done, but I do want to make the distinction now before we see the reactions from the so-called experts at Tesla's AI Day 2. Quote, self-driving cars weren't really proved to be as easy as anyone thought, and it's the same way with humanoid robots to some extent. The lead of NASA's dexterous robotics team said, this is absolutely true. Doing things that have never been done before, sometimes a little bit harder than you might have expected. Totally get this. Just because something's difficult does not mean it's impossible, and this is very important. Also, just because something takes longer than initially expected doesn't mean it's impossible or that it will never be done. Quote, if something unexpected happens, being flexible and robust to those kinds of changes is very difficult. At an autonomy event in 2019, Musk promised 1 million robotaxis by 2020, but has yet to deliver such a car. Now, in fairness, this is true. Tesla has not yet solved autonomy, but the caveat there, Tesla already has literally millions, not 1 million, millions of vehicles on roads today. FSD Beta going wide release. I think soon 160,000 users in the US will have access to this technology. Tesla's well on the way to pulling this off. Again, the timing not perfect, but you got to cut Tesla a little bit of slack. They're doing something that has literally never been done before. It's kind of very difficult to predict timelines on stuff that's never been done before. You don't have a point of reference. It's just an educated guess at best. Musk's robots may be able to demonstrate basic capabilities at the event, but it will be hard for them to impress public expectations of robots that are as capable as humans, experts say. Absolutely correct. To succeed, Tesla will need to show robots doing multiple unscripted actions, says Nancy Cook, a professor in human systems engineering at Arizona State University. Such proof could provide a boost to Tesla stock, which is down 25% from its 2021 peak. Once again, for the record, I don't think most people, including experts, are going to be impressed by what Tesla sees, except those whose brains are actually working and can look forward into the future and understand rate of progress and the inevitable starting point. Quote, if he gets the robot to walk around or he gets the robot to dance, that's already been done. That's not that impressive, she said. Now, in fairness, the perception of the general public, this is true. Again, go back to the Boston Dynamics party tricks. But if Tesla has a humanoid robot that can literally walk and not fall the flat on its face in 2 seconds, can maybe walk up some stairs, pick up and move a box somewhere without looking like it's a drunk toddler, this will be stunning progress. But again, the public won't see it that way. Tesla did not respond to Reuters' request for comments, but Musk in the past proved skeptics wrong, jump-starting the electric car market and building a rocket company, SpaceX, although some product launches were behind schedule. Initially, Optimus will perform boring or dangerous jobs, including moving parts around its factories, according to Musk. Musk acknowledged that humanoid robots do not have enough intelligence to navigate the real world without being explicitly instructed. But he said he can leverage its expertise in AI and key components to develop and produce smart yet less expensive humanoid robots at scale. He tweeted on Monday that its autopilot team is also working on its Optimus robot. Here's Elon's tweet. Note, autopilot/AI team is also working on Optimus. Tesla is on a hiring spree for people to work on humanoid bipedal robots, with about 20 job postings on Tesla Bot, including jobs for designing key robot parts like actuators. Quote, the code you will write will at term run in millions of humanoid robots across the world and will therefore be held to high quality standards, one of the job postings said. Tesla has over 2 million vehicles on the road. Jonathan Hurst, Chief Technology Officer at Agility Robotics, a humanoid robot firm founded in 2015, said the technology, quote, is right now starting to turn the corner. This would be a great time to point out for those who are unaware the timing with Tesla's efforts in terms of autonomy. The same was true when Tesla announced their plan to produce autonomous vehicles. There was a huge breakthrough in AI, categorization of images, aka computer vision. Tesla realized, oh shit, this is the perfect time to start on this project while everyone else thinks it's a pipe dream many decades away. Quote, certainly, an important measure of success is do they make money from it, he told Reuters, referring to Tesla's humanoid robot efforts. Again, another caveat here. Initially, this is going to be a money sink. This is called investing for a future ROI. Analysts see more pageant than a product. I just want to caveat this, and I mean it. Braindead analysts see more pageant than product. Quote, it's all part of distracting people and giving them the next shiny object to chase after. An analyst, using the term loosely, from Guidehouse Insights said, quote, investors are not excited about Optimus, said Gene Munster, long-term Tesla bull and managing partner at venture capital firm Loop Ventures, which holds Tesla stock. Quote, it's just such a low probability that it works at scale, he said, saying it is infinitely harder than self-driving cars. So a couple of things here. First of all, it is a very difficult problem. I acknowledge that. And second of all, it is not a low probability that it works at scale. It is a long-range project. I don't expect we're going to see super useful Tesla humanoid robots this decade. They will exist. But how much utility they'll provide? I'm on the fence. But this just speaks to short-sighted nature, even from a longer-term Tesla bull like Gene Munster. It is embarrassing that he's saying it's a low probability that it works at scale. It's obviously going to work at scale. It's just around the timing. When will it work at scale? And as for Gene's opening line here, I'm not sure which investors Munster is referring to. Oh wait, I'm just kidding. I know exactly the investors he's referring to. Big-brained institutional investors. The Wall Street wankers. And I don't say that with disrespect. I just say that as an accurate descriptor of most on Wall Street who are too smart for their own good and don't see the potential in humanoid robots. And again, I do want to emphasize this is a very long-term project, but Tesla is going to do this, and they're in an incredible position. This is literally the time. All the experts, it's never going to work, it's never going to happen, very low probability, blah, 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 blah. Kind of reminds me when everyone was saying that electric vehicles were a stupid idea more than a decade ago, when Tesla was massively accelerating their plans. No disrespect, Gene, but on this, I strongly disagree. And then there is Musk's own experience with robots in the factory. During the 2018 production hell, Musk specifically noted the problems of the Fluffbot, an assembly robot that failed to perform simple tasks that human hands can do, picking up pieces of fluff and placing them on batteries. He said the cost of having technicians maintain the complicated robot far exceeded that of hiring someone to do the assembly. The Fluffbot is, quote, a funny example, but drives home the point that autonomy often doesn't generalize well, and so handling soft fluffy material that isn't as predictable as a rigid part was causing a huge problem. Absolutely true. Quote, human hands are way better at doing that, Musk said. Attempting to over-automate production was a bit of an error in hindsight. Good idea in theory, but the time was not yet right. Elon and Tesla definitely bit way more off than they could chew. Does that mean automating more manufacturing processes in the future is never going to be a viable idea? No. It just means at that point in time, it was not the play. Tesla recognized that and reversed course, one of the very few occasions in which they've done exactly that. Now, I do want to be clear once again, Tesla Bot is a very long-range project. The good news is, I'm looking after my health. I'm still going to be around in 2042 and 2069 to go, hey, remember that Tesla bot? Everyone was saying it's impossible. It's a stock pump. It's a fraud. It's never going to work. It's just a distraction. The probability of it succeeding is extremely low. I'm sure glad I didn't listen to you, motherfuckers. And I really do mean that, by the way. I'm going to be here in 2042 and 2069. That's plenty of time for this project to pay off. This is the difference between a long-term investor and a Wall Street stock analyst or an industry expert. I'm literally looking multiple decades into the future when considering the Tesla humanoid robot, as is Elon Musk and Tesla. I don't know what it is, but most people just don't seem to have that long-term vision. As I said earlier, it's not a matter of if, but when. Yet most of the experts at this point in time think it is a matter of if, not when. They're lost. There is a reason I'm still buying Tesla stock with literally every spare cent. Now, as promised, some new data showing Tesla continues to absolutely slay it. They're so far ahead of the so-called competition that second place literally does need a telescope to even see them. This tweet from Troy Teslike. Hi everybody, here's a table that shows Tesla's market share in battery electric vehicles. Troy, who has a brain, excludes hybrids because they're a fucking joke, completely irrelevant, and they're also going extinct just like ICE vehicles. Wait, they are ICE vehicles with a tiny battery in them. Same shit. If you see any data anywhere regarding electric vehicles, and the data is including hybrids, run the fuck away. If the companies and organizations who are providing this data aren't stripping out hybrids, putting them in their own category at the very least, or just completely ignoring them, they're providing garbage data. So let's have a look at this up close, just to orient everybody on screen now. Left column here is the quarter from 2020 in Q1 all the way to 2022 in Q2. We're looking at Tesla's market share in battery electric vehicles in China, Europe, USA, and then combine. As expected, the Tesla Q versions were right. Tesla's sales, demand, and market share collapsing in China from 26.4% in Q1 of 2020 all the way down to 9% in Q2 of 2022. In other words, Tesla is doomed, going bankrupt, and you should definitely be short the stock. Except if we use our brains and we realize the percentage market share is actually irrelevant, what matters is total vehicles sold, and Tesla sales continue to increase quarter over quarter in China and everywhere else. It's also worth remembering China is the world's most mature and advanced not only vehicle but electric vehicle market as well, whereas for example the US is about the least advanced. So moving over to Europe, a couple of years ago Tesla at 18.1% total market share, now at 8%, and in the US 73.1%, collapsing to a mere 63.8%. This just goes to show, ladies and gentlemen, how embarrassingly far behind US-based automakers are in their futile attempts to catch up to Tesla. You did it, Mary. As we can see here, combined share, China, Europe, and USA from 30.4%, halving to about 15.6% over time. And if you guys want to nerd it out a little bit more, we can also see Tesla versus all battery electric vehicle sales. These aren't percentage, but actual unit numbers. Tesla versus all brands in China. If you want to nerd it out, pause the video. Just wanted to show this because it's really important to understand. In percentage terms, we will continue in many markets to see Tesla's share of new electric vehicles sold plummet, which will be great fuel for the cherry-picking dolts who are short Tesla stock, the bears who want to paint a bearish narrative. But as I said, what really matters is how many electric vehicles Tesla is selling, not what percent of the electric vehicle market Tesla is capturing. To put that in context, on the rightmost column here, China plus Europe plus USA total battery electric vehicle sales in Q1 of 2020 were less than 250,000 total. Tesla's share of that, 75,000. Fast forward just 2 years, the final row here, Q2 of 2022, Tesla's electric vehicles alone, almost the same number, 232,484, as all electric vehicles sold in China, Europe, and the USA just over 2 years ago. And finally, the tide continues to turn. We are over on the Business Insider Trading website with a rather positive, reasonable, and unbiased article on Tesla's category-killing Model Y, which is in stark contrast to many of the hilarious, most likely paid articles describing how the Ford Mustang Mach-E is much better than the Model Y, the Audi e-tron is much better than Tesla's vehicles, why the VW ID3 is better than a Tesla vehicle, why the Chevy Bolt is better than a Tesla. All of which I personally believe are written by people who are either paid shills or want to position themselves as anything but a biased Elon fanboy, and rather than just accepting reality and pointing out the obvious that Tesla's products are literally the best in every category, they want to take the opposite side. There's a few YouTubers who've done the exact same thing in an attempt to appear not to be a deluded Tesla fanboy, when in actual fact, everyone's pointing and laughing, thinking what an absolute fucking moron. Trying to position yourself as reasonable, logical, and rational, but in doing so, having an aversion to actually stating the facts, aka Tesla best products, just makes you look like a fucking clown. So it's nice to see some mainstream finance media articles in which reality is actually being described as it relates to Tesla. I drove the Tesla Model Y and found 7 reasons to buy Elon Musk's $66,000 electric SUV over rivals. Can't wait to read this. Quote, Teslas are by far the most popular electric vehicles in the US, and for good reason. I tested a 2022 Model Y SUV and came away impressed by its quick acceleration, roomy cabin, and tech features. Tesla's extensive supercharger network is another great reason to buy one of its EVs. Wonderful point so far. Driving a Tesla for the first time showed me Elon Musk's electric vehicles aren't all hype. Imagine that. In fact, there are several solid reasons to strongly consider buying from Tesla instead of one of its many rivals, depending on your particular preferences. Now, before we get any further into this article, most of you will already know, you want the safest vehicles? Tesla. Best performance? Tesla. Best features? Tesla. Best tech? Tesla. On and on and on and on and on. However, you want to show the world that you're different, you're smarter, you're not a sheep, you're not a follower? Obviously, you can't buy a Tesla because that would make you an Elon fanboy, and we can't have people thinking you're an Elon fanboy. The 2022 Model Y SUV I borrowed from a friend recently. Isn't that interesting? A friend willing to go, hey, check out my Tesla. It's so fucking amazing. Yep, you can borrow it. I'll let you ride in it. Why? Because I just want you to see how amazing it is. Again, as I've said a trillion times, the more Teslas Tesla sells, the more Teslas Tesla sells. Why? Because people get one and go, holy f***, this is amazing. Yo, neighbor, friends, family, colleagues, everybody, come check this thing out. It's epic. And then you have these kind of things as well. Occasionally people have such a large platform, they'll get a test drive from a friend and they'll write a fucking article about it. It's just so stunning. Tesla's business strategy is so simple. Just make a compelling product that literally shits all over everything else in its category, and they will literally sell themselves. No need to waste money manipulating dumb consumers into buying our products, as everyone else does. The 2022 Model Y I borrowed from a friend recently delivered an attractive combination of cutting-edge technology, minimalist design, and speedy acceleration. For those reasons and more, the popular Y is a great choice for certain buyers, if you can get past its flaws. Sporty driving. Despite not being the higher price performance version, the Model Y long range I sampled was plenty sporty. It leaped forward with the fierce acceleration intrinsic to high-powered electric cars. Pair that quickness with precise steering and a stiff suspension, and you get an all-wheel drive SUV that's more agile and exciting to drive than most. Range fit for road trips. Tesla remains one of the range leaders in the US. The Model Y earns a healthy 330-mile range estimate from the Environmental Protection Agency. The Model I drove has an EPA range of 318 miles. The SUV's crisp and feature-packed touchscreen makes it a tech lover's paradise. Practically everything in the vehicle is controlled through the super responsive display, which is apparently a really terrible thing because you need buttons, physical buttons, and if you disagree with me, you're an Elon fanboy, which includes whimsical features like games, a digital whoopee cushion for pranking passengers, and a web browser. Sentry mode surveils the area around your parked car and records it if it senses something fishy. Moreover, Tesla frequently tweaks capabilities through software updates, just like you'd get on a smartphone. Some people may be repelled by the idea of relying on a digital interface for basic functions like the air conditioning and windshield wipers. That's understandable, after all. Dinosaurs exist, change is hard. But for anyone interested in a car that's sort of like an iPhone on wheels, as opposed to a fucking BlackBerry, a Tesla is tough to beat. Room to stretch out. Tesla takes full advantage of the compactness of electric powertrains to maximize interior space and make things comfortable. Shout out to the back seat of a Porsche Taycan. After all, doing away with the transmission, engine, and gas tank should open up lots of room for more important things, like people. The Model Y has a flat floor which increases legroom, and its tall glass roof, which is standard, adds to the sense of openness and boosts headroom. Tons of cargo space. Now, just a quick note, as we can see here on screen now, the Model Y frunk, lots of storage space. I just want to contrast this, right, with some of Tesla's so-called competition. This is the Mercedes EQS. This is an electric vehicle, at least allegedly. I saw this on Twitter, and you can believe everything you see on the interwebs, right? Why is it that Tesla's Model Y has an abundance of room? So much so that they've engineered a front trunk for extra storage, whereas Mercedes has this clusterfuck. I'll tell you why. Because Tesla has better engineers with bigger brains, and the better engineers have used their bigger brains to better engineer Tesla's products. Between bonus areas like an underfloor bin and frunk, the Model Y offers loads of storage space before you even get to the regular cargo area. Indeed. In all, the Y has 76.2 cubic feet of usable storage space, with the back seats folded, more than most rivals. Unique, minimalist design. Lacking the typical clutter of gauges, buttons, and vents. The best part is no part. The Model Y's interior is strikingly minimalist and unlike that of any other car on the road, which obviously means that Tesla is doing it wrong, obviously. Some pretty wood trim ensures the cabin doesn't come off as too sterile. The whole environment made me feel like I was driving something special and bleeding edge, not a regular car. Fair observation. Effortless supercharging. Tesla's extensive and exclusive network, well, not quite exclusive anymore, but I see what he was saying, of supercharger stations makes it incredibly easy to charge when on the go. I quickly found an available plug in the Y's screen, and when I showed up, the vehicle had already been warming the battery to the ideal temperature for quick charging. Then I simply hopped out, plugged in, and the Model Y began slurping up those sweet, sweet electrons. This isn't the typical charging experience with other models. Understatement of the fucking century, which can involve fumbling with credit cards, phone apps, or more likely, customer service. So to quickly recap today's video, the haters are going to hate, the doubters are going to doubt, even Tesla bulls massively skeptical about Tesla's humanoid robot being a worthwhile pursuit, and of course many of the self-hating, basement-dwelling adult virgins who think Elon Musk is a fraud because they're projecting their own insecurities onto the man and haven't dealt with their childhood issues through therapy, claim the Tesla bot to be an intentional distraction, a new shiny object, rather than a serious attempt at a serious project that will literally change the fucking world. See you dipshits in 2042 or 2069 if you haven't been laughed permanently off the internet. New data showing Tesla continuing to massively increase their production and still dominate in China, Europe, and the United States. But again, there is nuance. You have to think a little bit. You can't just look at the percentage market share and, oh my god, it's collapsing. This is why engaging one's brain and actually using it is super important. And the tide continues to turn. Finally, we're starting to see some reasonable things being said in the mainstream finance media about Tesla. The haters will continue to hate, the FUD will continue to be spread. But I believe in the second half of this decade, we're going to see the tide massively turn. Just as today, practically everyone on the planet knows Apple makes amazing products. It's only a matter of time before everyone on Earth has had either first or second-hand experience with a Tesla, either directly from themselves buying and owning one, or from a friend, family member, colleague, or neighbor who won't shut the flying fuck up about how amazing the Tesla is and forces them to experience it for themselves. As I said, the more Teslas Tesla sells, the more Teslas Tesla sells. So, with less than a week until Tesla's AI Day 2, I just have a final message for Tesla stock investors. If you're blown away by what you see, but the stock market, the experts, the analysts are completely disappointed, you shouldn't be surprised. Don't forget, you can support the channel and unlock over 150 exclusive videos, instant up-to-date access to my Tesla stock price targets, our Discord server, and loads of other content and perks by joining Patreon with the card in the corner or the link in the pinned comment. See you over there. I'm Stephen Mark Ryan. This is Solving the Money Problem, and I love you all. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you want to support the channel and instantly unlock over 100 exclusive videos, plus my 10-year Tesla stock price targets and loads of other perks, including optional access to my Tesla valuation model, join our growing community of thousands of supporters on Patreon with the link in the pinned comment. You can also pick up some Tesla, Elon, and investment themed merch in the merch store. And if you're still watching, you're awesome. Please let me know your thoughts on today's video in the comments below and click the card on screen now to watch the next video.